Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name's Barry.
And I'm Jay.
And together we are Mitosu Crafts.
And this is Tommy. Welcome to our channel. So this evening of 11th of April 2025 for Funfold Friday, you have Barry creating a treat box featuring mixed media florals. DSP. Ow. Tommy. If you are watching the replay, do fast forward to the demonstration if you prefer. We'll say hello to those of you who joined us live. Thank you so much. Nice and short. Hi, Pauline. Happy birthday. Belated happy birthday. Linda, hello to you. Tanji, Holly in Wyoming. And that is everyone. That was nice and quick. If you do live in the UK, France, Germany, Austria, Netherlands, Belgium, or Ireland, you can purchase current Stampin Up products from our online shop. Just head on over to that website, that one, mitosocrafts.com/shop. And if you have any questions about particular products, just email us, barrenj@mitosocrafts.com, or message us on social media.
Lovely, that's it. So as Jay said, you've got me tonight. So I've created 14 of these boxes so far. So I'm going to make my 15th one right now. And it's just in time for Easter. So if you want to make something like this as well, and you've got some little eggs which you want to pop in, then feel free to case this idea and hopefully give you some inspiration. I'm quite happy with how it came out, so hopefully you enjoy it too. So we're going to crack on before this one here decides to lay down across the two of us. And it's even harder to get rid of him. So let's go camera down and crack on. So I'll just let Jay move out of the way.
We have other people.
We do.
Hi, Lani.
So we have
Elizabeth, Rose, Darla, and Sandra.
Excellent. Good evening to you all. Right, so I have some space. Yeah, I've got that down there. And right, so what I'm going to do, didn't get my trimmer out. I'm going to grab my trimmer. So yes, as Jay mentioned, we're going to be using the Mixed Media Florals Designer Series paper. I'm also going to be using the Easter Greetings sentiment right here from the Storybook Friends stamp set, and I'm going to be using one of the little tiny circles in here from the Stylish Shapes dies. So that's the products I'm going to be using. So Designer Series paper stamp set dies, and I'm also going to be the paper I'm using for this is boho blue. Now this is a retiring colour, so if you do like this, I would head on over to our website and go over to mitosocrafts.com/shop, which we said, I'll pop it on the screen again for you. This is going to be on the last chance, so it may have sold out already, I'm not 100% sure, but if you do like any of the retiring or last chance products, then head over to that shop and have a little look. So like I say, this is going to be leaving us soon. Another reason why I'm using it, because we had a full packet of it, and I don't know why we had a full packet of it, because I really like the colour. But
because we ordered loads.
Did we order loads, did we? And Jay would have had it in his artisan box from last year, so we probably had loads left over anyway. So it is a really lovely colour. I do like my blues. But if you haven't got boho blue, then balmy blue would probably be a nice alternative. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit brighter maybe. That would be a good alternative for this one as well. The boho blue is what I'm going to use. You will be needing a full A4 piece of paper is what I'll be able to make this whole box out of. And I will be doing it in inches and not centimetres. I haven't worked out the centimetre version of this one, so everything is in inches, and I prefer working in inches for boxes anyway. I'll pop the measurements. That's my scribbled notes right there on the screen. So if you want to pause and take a screenshot, that's where they all are. But I will go through them with you right now. So with the box base, we'll start off with that one first. We want a piece of paper which is measuring 6.5. Let me just create myself a little bit of room, shall we? We are going to start off with a piece which is 6.5 inches. So I'm going to cut it down on the short edge first to cut a long piece, 6.5 inches, and then I'll take this in at 6.5 inches again, like so, and that's going to be for my box base. For my lid, I need one at 3.5 inches. So using that the offcut, 3.5 inches by 3 9/16. So you just want to take it to the 3.5 and then just one line across, and then cut that like so. That's your box lid. And then on one of these offcuts which you've got, you can either use either or of these ones here, the smaller piece or the larger piece, not the really tiny piece which you've got, the middle piece and the larger piece. One either or, it doesn't make any difference. You want to make your inner part, so you want to take this to 1 7/8 of an inch there. And you want it's 5 1/4, but if you're using that smaller piece there, the middle bit, it's just slightly short of 5 1/4, but that doesn't matter. It's just a tab which is going to be for gluing down. So that there is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. If you were doing on your offcut right here, you can get it to 5 1/4, but it will be a little bit shorter in the middle part. But again, it's just for the inner parts. So depending on what parts, just want to make sure you use your offcuts, so you haven't got too much left. And that's all you need for that part. What I'm going to do is I will be using my score tool, my scoring board, Simply Scored, right here. I find this easier for doing boxes because you've got less room for error. Because you can butt it up in the same position every single time in that top corner, whereas if you use the trimmer, you have a tendency to sometimes maybe not line it up exactly the same. So if you're struggle with boxes, then maybe, and you haven't got a score tool, then maybe this is something which you might want to think about investing in. The scoring measurements for the box base is we want to score it at 2 1/4 inches on all 4 sides. Okay, so I'm just going to, and I've got my take your pick tool here with my scoring attachment, my scoreboard attachment on this one. So I've either got the large or the small one right there. And I'm going to just go at 2 1/4 on all 4 sides. So that's my box base scored and ready. Whilst we've got the scoreboard out, we may as well move on to the next part. So I'm going to do with my lid, and we are going to score this at 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides. Okay, so that's my lid scored and ready. And this part is which is going to be for the inner. We want to score this at 1 7/8, 2 3/8, 4 1/4, and 4 3/4. So 1 7/8, 2 3/8, 4 1/4. And 4 3/4. Okay, and that's the bit for the inner part. So we're done with our scoring right now, so you can now get rid of your score tool and your take your pick tool as well. We will fold and burnish all of these right now. So let's fold and burnish the 4 of those, and we'll do the same for the box lid as well. Okay, so that's those. What we want to do is we'll take the base first. I'm going to take my scissors and we're going to cut away these 4 corners. So just go down the score line down again, and you want to do that for all four sides. So, what's everyone saying? Jay, anything there?
Linda and Lani saying they're gonna miss the colors.
Yes, I think boho blue definitely will be missed, but it is being replaced by some lovely colours, so I'm sure you not going to be disappointed for too long. Okay, so that's my fourth square done. So when you're making lots of these, you do get quite a lot of offcuts. So I've got quite a lot of squares and strips. So if you have got any ideas what can be made with those the offcuts, then do let us know. Whilst I've got this out, this is actually a retired punch which I've got, but it's normally for most people it's a bit of a staple which most people have, which is something to round the corners off, because this is going to be more of like an exploding box. So when we take the lid off, these sides are going to drop down. To make the lid fit that just a little bit easier, it's just easier just to have the corners rounded. So grab yourself a corner rounder and just do that on all four flaps. Okay, so that's the first part done. So there's no more gluing needed for that because it's just going to the lid. It's going to hold it all in. I'll do the lid right now. So what we want to do is we want to cut on the score line and just notch these little tabs like that, and then just do that on all four sides. And then that's that part done, ready for the construction of the lid. So what I'm going to do is, you can either do this one of two ways now. You can either construct the lid and double check that it fits first and you're happy with the fitting before you stick your designer series paper on. If you feel confident about it, you can just go ahead and then just stick the designer series paper on this once we've gone and cut it. I haven't got mine cut yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this together and just double check to make sure everything is fitting okay. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on here and just stick all four corners down. So I always say with boxes, take your time with your lid. Okay, just make sure everything looks nice and flat. On the edges right here, you've got nothing kind of like sticking out at weird angles. And just take your time, just hold it for a little bit before you move on to your next flap, which you need to stick down. So just to make sure this has got enough stickiness to it, or enough adhesion. Otherwise you may find as you're working with this one's been pulled out of joint, out of place, and then your box lid isn't going to fit. So just take your time with your lids. And don't use too much glue. You don't need too much, otherwise it ends up spurting out everywhere. You end up getting with sticky fingers, and which then makes the whole project sticky as well. So less is more. Just seeing Caroline on Facebook. Once the video's ended, you will be able to go back. It will stay on Facebook for a month. Obviously, you can cut, or you can come over onto YouTube, and the video will be live here as well. So you can then pause, and you can pause when I put the measurements up on screen for you. So you will be able to get them back again. Don't worry. But I'm sure I will be showing them again at one point very soon. Once I haven't got my hands full. Leftover squares for patchwork cards. So that's a good idea, Pauline. yeah, the videos on Facebook. So if you're Caroline, if you're watching on Facebook, the videos will only stay here for 30 days now, isn't it, Jake? 'Cause it's alive. Yeah. So on Facebook, after 30 days, they will disappear. Any lives, but on YouTube they will be there indefinitely, or until YouTube decide to remove them. But at the moment, they should stay there indefinitely. So yeah. You can put it in a playlist on YouTube and save it for future reference. So yeah. So that's my lid, like so. So that technically, if I've got everything done nicely, it is a little bit of a tighter fit, but it kind of needs to be so that it holds the whole thing together. So, because what I don't want to happen is I'm not pinching this. What I don't want to happen too much is for that box to just literally slide as soon as somebody picks it up. I want there to be a little bit of grip to it anyway. But the secret to box lids is a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so a 1/16 of an inch added to one side, and it should work fine. So that there is that. Okay. Good, so moving on to this one here, I'm just going to manually just fold these bits over for the moment, because I'm going to be running this through a die cutting machine, so it's going to flatten it out again anyway. But it just gives you an idea. So if you do this and have an idea, we want to make sure the sticky bit, the flap, is going to be on the bottom, and we want to die cut a circle on this top part. If you get a bit confused, just pop a little bit of a cross on that, so that when you've got it flat open again, you'll know what area you're going to go. Try and keep it, because we're going to use the circle which comes out of this as well. So I'm just going to grab and so these are all over the place, but it's not the smallest circle, it's the second circle up, which we're using on the stylish shapes dies. And what I'm going to do is I want to pop that centrally on here, and I want to die cut this out. So I'm just going to bring it over my machine. Make sure you don't crush your lid. When I was trying to find things to go in this box, I took it into Tesco's, our local supermarket, and I had the box, one of my prototype boxes, in the bag. Let's just say it didn't win against a pineapple. It didn't come off too well. So just be careful. If you take your boxes into your shops to go round and then have funny looks from people as you start putting things into boxes and going, that doesn't fit, and yeah. There we go. So that there is now my hole, which has been popped into the inner part, which is going to be the inner workings of the cut of the box. You can see there was no point in me folding and burnishing, because straight away, just by doing it manually was enough. But now that we've cut a hole, we can just finish those off nicely. So for those of you who are wondering, the size egg which is going in here is this size egg. So it's one of these cream eggs which we've got, which is what it's going to fit in. So yeah, I had to make sure the hole was big enough just to kind of sit this in quite nicely. Too small, it was just resting on it. Too large, it just didn't really do anything. So that worked quite nicely. So I've got that done there. What we can do is just pop a little bit of glue on that tab, and then just fold this over just to let that start sticking up as well. And then you can go the opposite way and just make sure that everything is stuck. So that there is going to be my inner part, which is going to sit my egg and stop it from rolling about inside my box. Okay, so box, inner, lid, done. let's do my designer series paper. Keep your circle as well, because we will be needing that. For my designer series paper, I have got myself, going to be using for this particular one, I'm going to be using this lovely green paper, and I'm going to be using the white one here with just the black flowers on it for the inner part, but choose whatever you like on that one. I've got some offcuts here, so there we go. Let me bring over your measurements again right here. So my designer series paper measurements are going to be down here. So I'm going to need one at 1 7/8 by 1 7/8, 4 at 1 7/8 by 2 1/8, another 4 at 1 7/8 by 5/8, and another 4 at 1 7/8 by 2, which is my inner one. Okay, and you'll need some basic white for the sentiment, which is 1 5/8 by 5/8. So that's what we need right there. Okay. So let's just get cutting. I've got myself some offcuts here first, because I want to make sure I use up. This pattern doesn't really matter if it doesn't flow, because it's quite a random pattern anyway. So if you've got some offcuts, then it's great for this. Right, so I'm going to just do my 1 7/8 by 5/8 of an inch first. That's my offcuts. So I need 4 of these. Let's just see, that's too small. So that's 4 of them at 1 7/8 of an inch by 5/8 of an inch. So that's 4, which we've got right there. And if you're making more, then you'll end up with some offcuts, which will probably be suitable for later on as well. Then we need to go with my square pieces here. So this here, it's already been at 1 7/8 by 2 1/8. I can do that one. And I also need one which is 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. So that one there, that offcuts, works out quite nicely. And now I just need to make another 3 of these ones right here. So that there is, let's take it to, okay, so I've got 4 there, 1 7/8 by 2 1/8. I have got 4 here, 1 7/8 by 5/8, and then I've got 1 here which is 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. For the inside one, now I'm not going to cut these, because fortunately when I asked Jay to cut them for me yesterday, I told him to cut me one more than I actually needed, so I haven't had to do it right now. So these are my black and white pieces, which are going to be for the inner part. So these are 1 7/8 by 2 inches here, and they're going to go on the inside. So let's take these. We are going to round the corners off on all of these again, so we're just going to just match this. Just rounding the corners off on one end, and the end I'm rounding on is the longest side. Okay, so just make sure that you're doing it on the correct piece, because it's the piece which is going to cover that whole panel up right here. All right, if you did it on that side there, then obviously you're going to end up with, you may want to just round the whole lot off by mistake. It wouldn't make any difference, but I just quite liked it flat at the bottom and rounded at the top to match this. So once you've done that, great. And then if you've got your tool out, you may also just round the longest, a 2-inch side as well on that one, because that one's going to fit nicely in the middle. It's a little bit shorter there, but I've done that so you get the best out of that bit of paper. Okay. Go ahead and stick the outer on. And then that fits in quite nicely, like so. Just remember what you're working on, which is your outer and your inner. That's that one. So I'll let that dry a little bit first before I start on the inner. So just pop that to one side. Whilst that's drying, I can then move on to my box. So we have just got these ones, and we'll stick these 4 pieces on all 4 sides. Again, just take your time, try and make sure things are stuck before you move on. Because obviously wet glue, you do have a bit of wiggle room. And I prefer that for things like this, so you can actually move it into place. The tape runner is great, but I sometimes have a tendency to stick it down not quite in the right place, and then I can't move it.
Try to convert it.
Jay's been trying to convert over to centimeters. You right there? When he's looking for something, it's normally asks me, so have you seen this? And I'll be able to go, yeah, it's there. Okay, so that's my 4 sides done. And then this one here, the center part, we can then pop this in on the top like that. So we've got Grace that has joined us from New Zealand on Facebook. Good evening to you, Grace. Or good morning to you, should I say. Good morning, Grace.
Everyone's saying it looks big, the cream egg. What's our grammage?
What's our grammage? The grammage is 40 grams. Yeah, a 40-gram egg. Yeah, I haven't scrimped and gone for the mini egg. The mini egg. Well, I tried to scrimp and go for the mini eggs, but they were rattling around too much, so it didn't look right. So I've gone up market and gone for the nice ones. So that's my lid like that. So we can do the same for the inside now, without fear of these parts slipping and sliding. So we may as well just do these as well. We'll just have it up and have that gap at the bottom there. Grammage, Linda's going. What's the grammage? Taking the mickey out of you, Jay.
Me?
So it's another Jayism, isn't it, Linda? These have shrunk over the years. Who remembers when they were big?
That's because you were small.
How do you eat yours? There we go. Let's start a debate. Here we go. I don't know if Cadbury's cream eggs a worldwide thing or are they a UK popular chocolate only. But yes, if it's just a UK one, obviously only the UK people will probably understand me. So how do you eat yours?
I like to lick the inside.
I like to lick the insides first. Do you just chomp it and big bite all at once? Do you like to
swallow it whole?
Lick the...
That's huge.
Split it, eat half and half. Yeah, if you can. So many ways you can eat it. Right, so that's that part right there. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to pop some glue on this part here. And we're just going to pop that as central as we can on the inside. Pop a little bit of pressure on the middle just to let that glue squidge out. And before we do anything, we'll just pop that to one side along with the lid just to let everything dry. Oh, actually, with the lid, we'll bring that one over and we'll take that little circle which we've got. We do, Darla. We have the caramel ones. We have all sorts now. I was looking in the shop and I thought to myself, oh, too many to choose from. And then there was, because I'm giving these away as a swap for a little event we're going to tomorrow. There's competition ones. So if you find a white one, then you win £10,000. But I didn't want to buy those ones just in case I gave somebody a winning egg, and then I'd feel, why didn't I keep that for myself? So I brought the non-competition one.
You could have said something in the swap. If you win,
it's half mine. Yeah, no, I couldn't. I didn't want to take that chance, so I didn't buy the competition ones. So the circle has gone centrally in the top right there. That's why when I popped that mark, I popped it central in there, because I'm going to cover this part up as well in a moment. Could you grab me some basic white, please, Jay? That's one thing.
I had to change it.
Okay. So I'm just going to pop 2 on there as well.
Basic white, what?
Just for that little sentiment, yes. Thank you. So I've just got a bit of basic white right here. Now this is going to be for, again, whatever sentiment you use. I'm going to use the Easter greetings from the Storybook Friends stamp set. And this needs to be 1 5/8 of an inch by 5/8 of an inch.
Oh, this one will probably be used. This one's closer to 5/8.
Okay.
But it's still slightly.
That's fine. No, that's fine. Okay, so Jay's fortunately given me one which is quite close to it, so I'm just going to take that to 5/8, 1 5/8 for that side. I'm just going to grab my sentiments. Going to grab myself some basic white, some memento. Ink up my Easter greetings. And try and get that as central as I can. Like so. You'll probably be able to do a better job at that once you can get your head right over the top of it, but you don't want to see all of my grey hairs. And then what we do is we just take those dimensionals off there. Stick that centrally over the top like that. Then what we are then done. We can sit our egg in here. Now what I've done with my egg is I've got myself a little glue dot. glue dot the bottom there, and then just stick. That stops that from rolling around inside. It kind of keeps it in. And what we can do, we can just do that. Oh, just need to just do that, and that. Close up our lid, and there we have yourself your Easter greetings Easter egg box. So you can buy 8 eggs for X amount of pounds, and it's a lot cheaper than obviously buying a big egg, and it's not going to be as calorific. It's still going to be high in calories for these, but it's not going to be as bad as a huge Easter egg. So there we go. So that was my one with the green paper. This here was another one with the with another bit of paper on the inside, so from the outside, another design, and we have the one which had it all from the same paper pack. We've got one right there which had the blue paper. That was my initial design. That's the one I've made most of, but I run out of that paper, so I had to get creative, and I thought I went with a white one, and then I thought I'll run out of that one, and then I ended up going with the green, which I thought oh, blue and the green didn't work, but it does. So I'm happy with that. There we go. So when they open that up, let's do the one I've just made. Open it up. Your sides just come forward. There we have it. So that's how you make an exploding box as well. So if you want to resize that, you could do all sorts with the flaps on the inside, popping bits in it. But yeah, I thought that was a nice little Easter treat. So I hope you've liked it.
And if you work in metric, I've done the measurements for it. Slightly taller, just to make sure that the it's a bit more better numbers, but the DSP to decorate it needed to be smaller than, of course, the actual box, so it is funky measurements, but hopefully your paper trimmer will help you. And also the lid, I had Barry says 1/16 of an inch on one side, but because 1/16 of an inch is like 0.15 of a millimeter, no, 1.5 millimeter, I just did 0.1 on both sides. But yes,
lovely, excellent. Tangi's saying I've had Cadbury in the UK and it seems superior, but maybe that was just my imagination. No, Tangi, I think I'm going to say I do think Cadbury in the UK is definitely different to Cadbury in America and anywhere else in the world. It's definitely got a different flavour here than what it has elsewhere. Yeah. I think definitely I've had Cadbury from in other countries before, and it's not.
You'd think it'd be the same.
No,
recipe.
It's adapted for a different market, definitely. Yeah. So it's definitely a different flavour here in the UK. I'm sure it is. So there we have it. I hope you've liked it. What was it? Marine's just said your daughter made one like this, but a bigger. Yeah, as I was just saying there, yeah, probably beat me. You can make it bigger because they're good exploding boxes. And I think, Linda, you said it'd be good for a Kinder Surprise egg as well.
Yes.
Yeah, the Kinder eggs have changed for us differently. They, instead of being like these eggs which we've got here, they come now in a plastic cover. I suppose I think they're still the same on the inside, but I'm not sure if they're wrapped on the inside. But they're kind of like a plastic, weird shape outside now for us. So it's that was hard to make the box for.
I've never seen one.
Just need to make it bigger, but lovely. So what's that? Sherry may have to try and adapt Kinder Surprise for my niece. Yes. Sherry, let us know how you get on. Like I say, I did look at them, but they're a different shape now for us. So let's see if not the same for you.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us for that one tonight. There we have it. Yeah, I'm really happy with that one there, and I hope everyone who's going to receive one of these tomorrow is as well.
Yeah.
And I've got one extra for me.
What about
and
me?
2. I've just made one tonight. It says 2 actually. And we've got 2 more eggs. Okay. Lovely. Excellent. We will say goodnight. Do remember you can shop with us via our online shop. Some details are on the screen right now. mitosucrafts.com/shop. And that is where you can order your Stampin' Up! Craft supplies from. So don't forget the last chance product list as well. Go and see if there's anything which is going to be leaving us once it's sold out. You might get yourself a bargain on there as well as the retiring colours. Remember, they're off. Why are you laughing?
Darla said, "Oh, you got the side eye from Jay."
Did I really? Was that? What about me? He doesn't eat them that often, that quickly.
No,
and
I
I end
don't.
up sitting there, and then I end up going, oh, really? It's like he teases me with chocolate. So yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. Well done, Barry,
Thank you.
for making the box, and we hope you enjoy that. And looking forward to seeing your creations as well. Barry used the sentiment from Storybook Friends. We actually have an online card making class next week, so if you'd like to join us for that, details are on the website.
I've seen the
and
cards,
Facebooks.
and they're lovely. And I've asked Jay to send out some fuller pictures.
Yeah, I haven't. I've taken a picture. I didn't like them, but I've taken pictures.
Yeah, so hopefully he's going to send out some fuller
We're making
pictures.
4 cards.
4 cards, and one of them's a lovely fun fold as well. So yeah, do head over to our website. I'll pop that up quickly there. Head over to our website, mitosucrafts.com. You can find our classes are on there. Okay, but yeah, if you want to join us on Tuesday night, please book in for that class.
Yes.
They're lovely cards. Right, we will see you again Sunday evening, same time, same place. For another card making inspiration. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Take care, everyone.
We'll see you all soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.